what should we do here? We should just have fun and go.
You too, Kevin and John.
What did we say about join in progress in the second quarter?
Sonics control the opening tap.
You know, the key time for the Sonics is to get Baker, Percy Hawkins involved in the ball game early. They do that, they have a great chance of winning this afternoon.
Baker with an air ball on his first shot, might have been partially blocked.
Well, Robert Horry, a terrific defensive player, Tom. They're taking advantage with the cross screen, trying to get Shaq off.
McIlvain fronting Shaq, got a hand to deflect that pass. Sonics take it the other way.
And in, nice play by and he thought he was fouled.
Anytime you can get that kind of penetration, that's going to free up your big players like Shaquille and Robert Horry for offensive rebounds.
2-2 to score in the opening minute. Here's a dribble drive by Payton, and a foul is called. Too much on Payton. Payton likes to use the body on other people, and Fisher tried the same thing and got caught. The ball out in front. They give the ball to the big forward Baker. Now to Payton. Payton averages about 20 points a game consistently. Detlef Schrempf takes the ball over to Hawkins, dribble drive in deep, throws up a right-hand jumper, no good. The rebound volleyball too far out by the Lakers. It goes to midcourt to Schrempf. Schrempf's down the middle. Schrempf gives the ball over to Baker. He's in the air, throws the ball away. Got away with it. Payton's got it. We've got 16 on the 24. Baker with it. He's got a 20-footer if he wants it. He doesn't. He wants an 8-footer over Shaq. He got it. 4-0. Or make it 4-2. Baker with the 4.
Good job by Baker that time. When he went up for the first shot, McIlvain fell right under his feet. He was very fortunate.
Now we got Jones with the ball in the attacking zone. Jones looking for somebody to give it to, takes it into Shaq. He turns, he's in deep, he's got what he wants, and he's fouled. He'll shoot 2. He shot 20 free throws, tying his career high in that department in the last game. The foul is on McIlvain. He'll play about 4 or 5 minutes and go out.
Shot 20 free throws, and if you ask Shaq, he'll say he can't figure out why he didn't shoot 30. It's because he gets butchered every time in the post.
Shaq at the line. He made 10 of the 20. Free throw is good. 4-3. The Lakers trail by 1. .10:08 left to play. We're in the opening minutes of play at the Great Western Forum. Jump shot, that's good by Shaq, and it's 4-4. Perkins looking on. The former Laker is a veteran, and he is a good one, tough in tough situations like this. Ball to Baker, dribble in deep, too deep. He's got a 16-footer, and he missed the shot. The rebound volleyball taken by Fox. First time he's had it, and he throws it away. Now the ball is stolen back in midcourt by Fisher. He dives on it, he holds it. They ought to have a jump pretty soon, and they do.
What an effort by Derek Fisher.
What an effort by Payton, too. They're playing for all the marbles today, Stu.
Yeah, there's nothing to leave on the bench. You have to put it all out on the floor from now on. That's the name of the playoffs. You do it or you go home.
At midcourt, Fisher and Payton. Ball up. Fisher tips it. Eddie Jones wants it. He almost got it. He does have it. He's in deep. Puts it up and in. Eddie scored. Beautiful shot, didn't bag it. Here coming down the floor, and traveling is called against Payton because Horry came down the floor and set a screen defensively, and it's up to the man with the ball to avoid it.
Yeah, he had a step to change direction, but he didn't. He was concerned about the charge, and he traveled. Good call by the official.
And Jimmy Pell says the Lakers have their first lead, 6-4. Fisher with the ball. The crowd is really wild today. Horry over to Fox. In low to Shaq. Out in front to Fisher. Fisher dribble drive. He penetrates well. Throws it up. Throws it in. He's gotten that down to a habit, baby. 8-4. The Lakers make 6 in a row to lead it by 4. Payton picks it up in the back court. Feeds it up in the front court to Schrempf. And Schrempf has it out above the three-point line. Now the ball knocked loose. Picked up by Payton. Dribble drive. Down the middle underneath. They give the ball off. And a ball put up and in by Schrempf underneath. Detlef Schrempf makes it 8-6. The Lakers lead it. Fox coming front court. Fox in the air. Throws it back out to Fisher. Fisher acts like he's been playing for 20 years, not 2 years. Jump shot by Fox, no good from 18. He had a slow third game, excuse me. And here's Shrimp to the ball. They pass it, it's knocked down by Eddie Jones, taken by Fisher, sitting on the floor. He lets the ball get away, making a pass. Now a dribble drive by Payton all the way under, throws it up and in. Basket counts, foul on Fox, and they can take the lead.
To start this ball game, Chick, both teams extremely nervous. There have been some turnovers that you just wouldn't normally see out of these two basketball teams. And Sonics, as you say, have a chance for the first lead or another lead in the game.
That's a nice shot by Payton with the left hand. He'll have a big game today. You can bet on that. He makes the free throw, and in this series, he has not missed. He's made 13 straight, including that one. And the Lakers give up 5 straight points to trail by 1. Now we got Fox with it, looking into Shaq, goes in there, the double team, out in front to Eddie, three-pointer by Eddie Jones, that's no good. Rebound off to Robert Horry, nice rebound to the baseline, double teamed in there. What's he going to do? He's going to try to spin out of it. He did it, got it over to Fox, and low to Shaq, comes underneath, puts it up, and he's hammered hard by McIlvaine. 2 more shots.
Every time Shaq gives McIlvaine that little spin and then an up fake, McIlvaine bites. He spins into and then comes baseline, up fake, McIlvaine bites on it, foul, sends Shaquille to the line.
He looked like a carp after a worm. Second foul comes with 3 minutes and 42 seconds having been played. Shaq makes his 3rd free throw without a miss to start the game.
Well,
We're tied at 9.
Game 2, he made all 6 of his free throws, so he's back on that pace to start this one.
He missed the second one. The rebound is off, and at the baseline is taken by Vin Baker. Baker gives the ball up to Payton. Payton bounces it back to Baker at midcourt. They acquired him this year. He's in the front court, not a bad perimeter shooter. He's standing with his heel on the 3-point line. Bounce the ball in low, depth of Shrimp. He's against Fox. Out in front the pass, knocked down. That's a great play by Fisher. Jones has got it. Reverse slam. Fisher did it all.
Yeah. Fisher reached in, slapped it free, and Eddie gobbled it up and took it the distance.
And the Lakers score 3 in a row to lead by 2, 11-9. What an exciting start. Here's the ball hook passed over here to Baker. Baker against Shaq. Down the middle, shoots over Shaq, and Shaq blocked the shot. Rebound is off. Thrown on the floor. It's legal tender. And the ball taken by Baker. 5 on the 24. Baker in deep. Shot blocked. Robert Horry! Here they go, 3-on-1. Fisher underneath to Jones. Slam dunk.
Oh, you talk about defense.
You talk about crowd noise. You talk about a timeout.
Robert Horry got him started, Chick. He gets faked out, but he comes back and recovers, blocks the shot, and Eddie again on the finishing in, and the Lakers are up by 4 on the Lakers Basketball Network.
Wow. To play in the first quarter, the Lakers lead by 4. Second time they've led by 4.
We've only played less than 5 minutes, and Baker already has taken 6 shots.
That's their plan, huh? All right, we've got Payton backing in on Fisher. Down the middle, wants to shoot, can't, gives over to Baker. Inside shot, outside. I told you could shoot the perimeter, and he hit it. That's why they're going to him. He's going to be their go-to guy, at least at the outset. 13-11, the Lakers. Leading it by 2. Horry's already startled the crowd, and so is Jones, so is Fisher, so is Shaq, so is Fox. Fox has got it under to Shaq. He's got it. Slam dunk with the right hand only. Perfect pass by Fox.
Yeah, there it is. The McIlvaine trying to stop him from getting in one position. Spin move, throw it to the rim.
15-11, the Lakers lead it. Hawkins with it, brings the ball over to Detlef Schrempf. This is game 4 of a 7-game set. Schrempf loses, Fox turns, shoots, 17-footer, no. The rebound is off. Shaq got it on the second bounce in the iron. And Shaq gives it off to Fisher. Shaq in the rebound department with 3 already. He's got a block shot. He's got a rebound. And Shaq also has 7 points. Only 2 Lakers have scored. Here's the ball given Fisher out in front to Jones. Jones leads the scoring with 6 points. Now the ball to Shaq. He's got 7. Turn, shoot, and he's got more than that now as the Lakers have the biggest lead of the game, 17-11, in a startling first quarter by both teams. 6 minutes to play in the period.
Well, the first substitute for the Sonics getting ready to come in.
Here's the 3-pointer by Payton outside. Eddie didn't get out on him, and Payton drills it. 17-14. It's going to go like this, I believe, all afternoon. with the ball in the front. Both teams know that the winner of this has odds-on advantage to win the series. Here's the ball to Ori, and he takes it into Shaq. Shaq holds it up, brings it back to Fisher, now to Fox, over to Eddie, dribble drive, beats Hawkins underneath, put it up, fouled on the dribble, no basket. Still a great play, penetration by Eddie. That is a team foul, and the ball will come out of bounds.
Boy, that's the aggressiveness of Eddie Jones in this playoff series, Chick. He is really attacking, and with his slashing ability, if he does that, that opens up his outside shot even more.
All right, the ball is into Fisher. 17-14, the Lakers lead. He holds it up. The Lakers have made 7 out of 10 shots. Dribble drive, Fox gives to Shaq. Here he comes, baby. Slam dunk. And it's 19-14. The Lakers lead by 5. Coming down the floor, Seattle has made 6 out of 13 shots. And the Lakers are now 8 out of the 11. 19-14, and only 2 Lakers have scored. One of them Jones, the other Shaq. Backing in as Schrempf turns, shoots, and didn't get the roll. Underneath the basket, they get it up and in. Baker did it, as the Lakers were a little bit lax rebounding that time.
Yeah, give Baker some credit. He traveled a long way to get that rebound.
He's got 8 points in the ball game. He's made 4 out of 8 shots. The ball to Eddie Jones. Lakers by 3 despite their brilliant performance. It's a short lead. The ball to Shaq. Out of front to Fisher. Dribble drive. Gives it back to Shaq. It's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Perkins. Perkins has replaced McElvain.
And Sam with those long arms cut off the lane and then reached out to deflect the pass right out of bounds.
We've got 7 on the 24. Fisher brings it into Fox. He shoots a 3-pointer. Not close. Rebound is off. Here they come. Going to be manpower advantage. 3-on-2 underneath the Schrempf. Lay it up and in. 19-18. Fox did not come close on his shot. The Laker lead is 1. Shaq playing the low post against the veteran Perkins. Back out to Fox. Fox takes it in low. Oria's got it. Made a catch of a hard pass. Brings it out the front to Fisher. 1-bound dribble. Now to Fox. Everybody's afraid to shoot it except Fox. He misses the 3. Here they come. A long pass to Schrempf. He's underneath. Puts it up as they're traveling. No, there's a basket. Plus the foul. And they're going to take the lead. They have taken the lead, 20-19.
Just like that, Lakers led by 5, 19-14, a 6-zip run, and the Sonics are up by 1 with the chance of a 3-point play.
Fox has got 2 fouls. He'll go out of the ball game. Corey Blunt will come in. And between free throws, the Lakers will take Fisher out and bring in Van Exel. You're going to have all your horses today, folks. And if you're wondering, yes, indeed, he is on the bench, Kobe Bryant.
But Corey Blunt, as you mentioned, Nick Van Exel both coming in after this free throw. So it'll probably be Rick Fox and Derek Fisher exiting.
Free throw is good. 3-point play, 21-19. This is a 7-0 run for the Sonics as they trailed it 17-11. 21-19. And Los Angeles with the ball. Fisher's got it. The Lakers couldn't substitute at that time. Now Jones dribble drive. He beats Schrempf badly. Slam dunk. Oh, was that a great move by Eddie? And he's got 8 points.
There is no way Detlef Schrempf is going to be able to defend Eddie Jones.
21-21. Eddie has made 4 out of 6 shots in the ball game. 3:45 to play in the first quarter. We're all tied up. Screen by Baker. He's been their big gun. Here comes the little gun underneath. Lay it up and in on the bank shot. Nice play by Payton. He is the one, if I were the Lakers, I would fear most today. Not Baker, Payton.
Well, he turned the corner that time. I thought the shot would get rejected, but he got it to go home.
23-21. The Lakers are behind in the first quarter. We've played 8.5 minutes of the first 12. Here's the ball to Fox. Dribble down the middle. Draws the crowd. Out to Fisher. 3-pointer on the way. Too long. Rebound volleyball. Nice play. Eddie Jones volleyballed it out in front. And here's Fisher with it again. Comes underneath. Lays it in. Derek Fisher penetrating for his 2nd basket of the night.
Well, there's Eddie Jones keeping the ball alive, though, Chick, for the next for that same possession, and they score on it.
23-23 with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Now we got Payton working on Fisher. Payton can work on anybody in the league. He's so good. Here's the ball to Ellis. Back out to Payton. Back to Ellis underneath. He puts it up. No, he saw Shaq coming and altered the shot. Shaq's got the rebound. Dribble drive Shaq. Underneath Shaq. He put it in. Wow!
You tell me what 7'1", 315-pounder can do that.
By Baker, no good. Rebound is off. Free ball, knocked out of bounds by Fox. That's one of the most incredible plays you will ever see by a center of that size.
Chick, nobody 7'1", 315 pounds should be able to do what he just did. 25-23 the Lakers on the Lakers Basketball Network.
And then at the end of it, he put English on the ball. The pass goes into Perkins with the Lakers up by 2. Perk backing in on Blunt. He turns. He puts up the shot. Foul by Blunt. The referees, good ones, Joe Crawford, Greg Willard, and Ed F. Rush. 2 shots coming to Perkins. Perkins is career 81%er. Laker basketball brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. We'll remind you it's a good time for good old macro brew. Brought to you by Delta Airlines, flying smoke-free worldwide. Delta Airlines, proud sponsor of the Lakers. Trying to tie the game. Perkins misses the first. He has not shot free throws well in this series despite his career 81%. Free throwing, he is now 5 out of 11 in this series.
Just blame all my poor play on my lack of ability.
Eddie Jones for 3. He has 13 points.
Eddie Jones, the role players like Robert Horry and Nick Van Exel have just been huge as the Lakers have been on a real offensive tear.
Again, it takes patience by the Sonics to know that they can withstand this assault that those 2 players are throwing down, and at the same time make some hustle plays, make it happen. Ben Baker, he's got 10 and a quarter.
After Jerome Kersey had scrambled to keep the ball alive. Van Exel for 3. Rebounded by Kersey. Oh, Baker it is.
Tom, the Lakers just look so confident. That was an ill-advised shot clockwise by Van Exel, but they just think they can do whatever they want to against this Sonic team. There's been no defense.
You know, it's a 2-point ball game. So, I mean, the Sonics aren't doing that badly.
And Payton missing a shot at the buzzer to end the first quarter. Sonics desperately in need of a victory, ending the first quarter down by 2. Shaquille O'Neal and Eddie Jones combining for 26 points. It's a 2-point Laker lead at the end of 1. The NBA on NBC. Getting ready to start the second quarter with the Lakers up 2 on the Seattle Sonics. And welcome to Inglewood, California, the Great Western Forum, and happy Mother's Day. Steve, the Lakers getting too many easy baskets here early.
Really, in their 30 points, they've been in the paint way too much. About 24 points have come from there. They've got to be able to make the Lakers more of a perimeter team in order to win this afternoon.
But Bill, will Seattle have an answer for Shaq?
George Karl has done all the right things strategically, but unless somebody is willing to get in there and mix it up with Shaq, it just won't happen. As Eddie Jones throws it over, Shaq with the easy stick back. And then the lob pass from Rick Fox, which was just beautiful. The turnaround jumper in the paint, everything working. And then the great defense, and Shaq takes it coast to coast on the break. Every big man's dream, the up and under, in your face Sam Perkins. Shaq celebrating, saying, point guard Gary Payton, hey, I'm the point guard right here.
When Shaq takes it coast to coast, we were just waving the white flag. Well, that's enough. We give. Shaq has hit all 5 of his shots. Eddie Jones is 6 for 8, 13 points apiece. The other Lakers are 2 of 7 combined, only 4 points. And Derek Fisher has those 4 points.
Well, if you call it balance, the Lakers have great balance with 2 guys, and the Sonics have balance with 3. Then Baker's their player with 10 points, and Baker's gotten off to a very aggressive start. So let's see if the Sonic defense can begin to have an effect and make the Lakers more perimeter-oriented.
As you see, O'Neal has been big in this series, and so has the Lakers supporting cast. Kobe Bryant, suffering from the flu, has missed the last 2 games and is questionable today. As the shot clock buzzer goes off, Van Exel misses. Shot clock violation.
Eldon Campbell has a legitimate complaint. They did pull his arm off the ball, so that one died on him, and no one knew what the shot clock situation was. So the Sonics come out with a good break.
But 2 straight times now, Nick Van Exel with the ball. He's got to be aware every single second, Steve, what's up with that clock.
Saw Kobe Bryant watching from the Laker bench. Jeopardy of missing his third straight game. The Sonics with a careless turnover as Kobe came out and warmed up, but did not feel well.
I was talking with Kobe in the locker room. He feels a lot better. He's been drinking tons of water in a dark room the last couple of days. He just wants playing time.
Wait. What does the dark room have to do with water?
He's resting that brain there, Steve, which has been burning.
You think we could get Bill a dark room?
Oh, Eddie Jones!
Jones continues to scorch the nets early. 16 points in the early going on 7 of 9 shooting.
But the last... this is a tough call against Robert Horry here. Eddie Jones last game, 29 points, career playoff high. Here, he's just stepping back to the deep corner. That's Larry Bird basketball right now. That's a heat check. He's got it going. Robert Horry in perfect defensive position. Referee Joe Crawford.
Still sliding. He's still sliding. You can't be in perfect position and be sliding.
Kersey ran him over, Steve.
Anthony in the ball game.
There's Anthony, who's replaced Gary Payton. Perkins for three. Air ball. Knocked from the hand of Corey Blunt and last touched by Jerome Kersey. It'll be Lakers ball.
Now with Payton out of the ball game, Detlef Schrempf at the offensive end has to become a bigger player along with Sam Perkins. Ben Baker and Payton are both down, and they've really got to be aggressive and looking for their shots.
Van Exel shoots over the double team, including the 6'10 Schrempf, and is rebounded by Kersey.
The hope for Seattle is that those shots don't go in.
Dale Ellis.
And that those do. And the Seattle Sonics in the two losses, the last two blowouts against the Lakers, the Sonics perimeter game has been non-existent.
You know, the Sonics are a lot like the Rockets were when the Rockets won their championship. When they're making their threes, you're not going to beat them. Well, they haven't been making their threes in the last couple of ball games. But they can't rely solely on the three-point field goal.
Campbell slapped out by Blunt, and the Lakers retain possession.
Lakers need to come back with Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he's been sitting out, and the Lakers have lost their momentum completely.
Shaq is at the scorer's table, ready to come in. Horry against Kersey. Anthony made a swipe at it, couldn't get the ball. The shot no good. Saved by Blunt, and Horry is fouled by Perkins. Corey Blunt tipping the ball to Horry to keep it alive. Lakers by 3.
Back at the Great Western Forum, the Lakers and the Seattle Supersonics. Paul Sunderland with you courtside, and Shaquille O'Neal, who's back in the lineup right now, off to a fabulous start. But I'll tell you, the pulse rate was going hot and heavy here Friday night. He landed awkwardly, hyperextended his right knee. There was some real concern, but all of those are forgotten given the way that he has gotten off so far in this Game 5 against the Seattle Supersonics, or Game 4 that is. And also, stomach that bothered him for 6 months. You saw the move that he made earlier in the year. He's working with a physical therapist named Alex McKechnie, who is down here from Vancouver. And Alex told me before the game, it's just maintenance now. Absolutely 100%. So good news across the board in terms of the physical condition of Shaquille O'Neal. Back to you guys.
All right, Paul. Sam Perkins called for a flagrant foul on Robert Horry. Horry hits 1 of 2, and the Lakers on the flagrant call get the basketball as well.
O'Neal comes back in. Eldon Campbell goes down. Let's see if they come back inside and make the Sonic defense collapse on him and maybe give Derek Fisher, Van Exel some easier looks from outside.
Good defense by Jerome Kersey on the ball. Derek Fisher keeping him from dumping the ball into Shaq.
Payton averaging 19. Baker a little disappointing, averaging 14-7 for the series as Ellis misses the outside shot.
Corey's run has been really a factor on the boards, Tom. With Kobe Bryant unavailable for action, Corey's got some playing time, and he's made the most of it with great board work.
Derek Fisher. Horry gets the offensive rebound.
Second opportunities are killing the Sonics right now. They've got to be hungrier than the Lakers, and they're letting the Lakers push them around, get second chance.
O'Neal rolls it in, and he's 6 for 6. 15 points.
Sam Perkins is terrific against guarding big guys.
Greg Anthony and one. Anthony taking it to the baseline, up and in, and a chance for a three-point play.
When I asked Greg, when I asked Sam Perkins about guarding Shaq, he said, well, Bill, I'm good at guarding big guys, but Shaq is a big guy. And both guys are a lot different.
Those guys, there's only one of those guys. Greg Anthony with a little hesitation. That surprised the defensive Corey Blunt. Gives Anthony a chance for a three-point play, cuts the lead to 3. So the Sonics, they have stayed close, and that's what they're going to need to do through this first 24 minutes of play.
Greg Anthony has played very, very well. Even though he didn't have big numbers, he's earned playing time, and now he got Peyton and Anthony at the same time.
And they're looking to put some defensive clamps on, but that has been killing them. The middle has been open. They've been driving the ball. Corey Blunt gets his first 2.
Again, they're paying so much attention to Shaq that the other guys have left all kinds of opportunities. Shrimp. Pretty shot, deadlift Shrimp.
You've got to deny penetration to Peyton and to Greg Anthony. If you let those guys come down the lane, Shaq is going to rotate every time to cover the basket. Shrimp, everybody else will be wide open.
First miss of the game by big and bigger Shaquille O'Neal.
Now that was your famous heat check, because he just slapped that one up there and hoping, I'm hot, everything is going in. Peyton on the post.
Against Fisher. Missed it right underneath. Rebounded by Ori.
The Lakers' game plan is to stay at home when Peyton goes into the post. Don't come down and double team. Let Derek Fisher handle him.
Fisher being checked by Anthony. Peyton is on Van Exel.
Shot clock under 10. They're going to gamble on Fisher.
He lost it. Shrimp for the Sonics. They're down by 3. Peyton wide open. Couldn't get it down. Ori with a reach-in foul as Peyton went streaking by. Well, happy Mother's Day to everyone. Nick Van Exel with some greetings for his mom.
Nick Van Exel was an only child, raised by his mom in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
George Karl, happy Mother's Day, George Karl. I think Shaq had that made up, especially in George's honor. Shaq and George had a little war of words earlier in the series, and Shaq ended up saying, well, just like a woman. That what you got on was a compliment.
The Sonics have gone very small, and that's going to create some problems for them. Corey Blunt over the top.
Corey Blunt is playing so well. It's just going to push Kobe Bryant a step further down that bench.
4 points and 4 rebounds in 8 minutes for Corey.
This guy's got to get into the game. Percy Hawkins, he has really got to be aggressive when he's out there on the floor in attacking Rick Fox, Rob Roy, who's ever guarding him, because they're giving up a ton when they go with that small team against Fox, O'Neal, and Corey Blunt.
What a great passer Shaquille has become from the low post. Percy Hawkins, Steve, you said he needed to get it done. 0 for 1 going to the line here for the first time. 8 minutes of action, has yet to score.
Go online to MSNBCSports.com for the inside story on the NBA playoffs. Check out John Sally's Spotlight and email Bill Walton for your playoff questions. Plus, click on NBA Showtime video features, analysis, and commentary, MSNBCSports.com.
Tom, Kobe Bryant got out of the dark room, and we're going to find out whether he can stand the light here on Sunday afternoon. And Hawkins, a great free thrower, gets 1 of 2.
George Karl told us before the game, he said that the key guys he thought were Percy Hawkins and Sam Perkins. He needed huge games from both of those guys to get a victory here today.
Eddie Jones was torturing the Sonics earlier. Let's see if he can rekindle his offensive energy. Turnover.
On the floor, picked up by Anthony. He's got Peyton on the wing, and Hawkins trying to throw it inside. Knocked out of bounds by Corey Blunt. And let's go to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Kobe Bryant, who missed games 2 and 3 because of a severe case of the flu, and as you know, we talked to Del Harris yesterday, and he told us that Kobe would only play in case of a blowout. But Kobe was here at 9:30 this morning, shooting, trying to work up a sweat, get some legs back underneath him, and he said, "Hey, I know what Del said, but I'm going to play." And here he is, and it's not a blowout. He's out on the court. So Kobe had his way.
In fact, Paul, it's a one-point game after that Payton 3, and it's the Sonics that have the lead.
Payton this year became the best three-point shooter of his career. What a pass, Shaquille.
And there's Blunt with the emphatic finish as the distributor, Shaquille O'Neal, continues to pile up assists.
Tom, when you have a great big man like Shaq, you want to surround him with mobile guys who move, who can catch, who can finish. You don't want big stand-around power guys. That's what really hurts Eldon Campbell. He doesn't move enough. Corey Blunt, one of those guys, when he gets minutes, he always produces.
Well, he's gotten 10 minutes today, and he's produced 6 points and 5 rebounds.
Shaq in early. They should be taking out. That one should have gone the other way. And Detlef Schrempf is right.
Nice box out by Vin Baker.
He never had a chance. The guy jumped the gun. The ball never left his hand.
Sonics wanting the offensive interference. Nothing doing. 9th offensive rebound for the Lakers with a jam home by Shaq.
Shaq in transition here.
Eddie Jones gave it to him, put it in. Too easy. Timeout, Seattle. Shaq off to the blistering start. Thank you, Hannah. 46-41. The Lakers on a 6-0 run since Payton hit that 3 to give the Sonics a 1-point lead.
George Karl with a real small lineup, 2-point guards. Percy Hawkins a spot up, and then just Baker and Schrempf.
Trying to get Payton down on the post, finally squeezes it off. A wild effort by him, but he's got 7 points in the quarter, 15 in the game.
4 Lakers around him, and he got it in for his 15th point. Kobe Bryant against Gary Payton. Stripped by Payton. Kobe, though, saved it inbounds to Shaq. Shot clock under 10. Shaquille missed it.
Corey Blunt again on the offensive glass.
Kept it alive even though he didn't have position. But they say last touch for the Lakers.
Kobe Bryant forcing a little bit of action here, trying to get his own offensive game going. Keeps it alive. Shaq unable to finish. I think Kobe needs to work on the defense and the passing and the rebounding a little bit. The offense will come later.
LA out rebounding Seattle 10-4 in this second period. Detlef Schrempf, he has 13.
And Schrempf and Payton carrying them back into the fray now. If they can get Ben Baker or Hawkins in it, they have a chance to go on top and maybe get control of the scoreboard before the break.
Lakers by 1.
Going deep to Shaq. Turnover.
Payton leads the break. Here's Hawkins. Laid it in. And the Sonics seesaw back up by 1. Here's Kobe Bryant right back to Shaq. Missed the jam. Got his own and made sure. Don't look at me.
Steve, you better go guard that guy, I think.
Yeah, they're having a tough time dealing with Shaquille O'Neal.
Fans desperately want to traveling on Percy.
Here's Van Exel with a steal, racing up court. And he's fouled. I believe Van Exel is the quickest he's been all season. He had that knee problem earlier, but he really seems to have fresh legs.
Shaquille O'Neal able to finish off the play after he missed the first dunk. Now, I had lunch. I had lunch with Coach Wooden earlier this week, and he said about Shaquille, he said that if Shaquille had played in an era of college basketball like Lou Alcindor did, where they did not allow the dunk, that Shaquille, as good as he is right now, would be infinitely better on the offensive end in terms of moves and shooting touch.
He would learn the other moves rather than always relying on the jam. I think he's done that, though. He's expanded his moves.
I mean, the guy has expanded on all of those things now. I mean, he's getting, what, 28, 29 points a game? You don't like him?
I think Shaq is, with Michael Jordan, is the most devastating opponent for any team in the NBA. I just would like to see him get a little bit better.
Well, we're going to call a halt to this love fest for a moment with a 20-second timeout. And we talked to Shaq and asked about his assessment of the first games in this series.
Game 2 was, on a scale of 1 to 10, about a 6.228.
And game 3?
About a 7.11995-228B722.
And Sunday's game?
We have to come out and play smart. So I think if we play smart and play with a lot of enthusiasm, we should be fine.
Be a 10.
No, it won't be a 10.
Well, it's been almost a 10 for Shaq. He's hit 9 of his 12 shots, 21 first-half points to lead all scorers, as you see.
And Shaq, being the great son that he is, got his mother today in Orlando, Mrs. Harrison, got her 200 dozen roses.
How many is that?
That's a lot. I said that would fill up the house, and Shaq said, they've got a big house.
Horry takes it into Shaq.
They got Shaq out on the wing, and he's going to power his way in. Now, what was wrong with that move?
That was no dunk. That was a pretty slick move there.
Shaq has got those kind of moves. At some point, he needs to use them. When he plays against centers like Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, when he plays against the Utah Jazz that keep him away from the hoop.
There's been a couple of mistakes for Supersonics, and both of them in the direction of Ben Baker. Ben Baker was wide open in an errant pass from Jerome Kersey. Again, Baker wide open. Miscommunication between Payton and Baker, and they find themselves down by 5.
And the Lakers with the ball.
What you can't give the Lakers is free chances, particularly when they're dominating inside the paint as much as they have with O'Neal, Eddie Jones, Corey Blunt.
Double team of Shaq. Shot no good by Blunt. Payton has it for the Sonics. Numbers for Seattle. Lakers quickly back on defense, but Payton has an open 3 and connects. Gary Payton now with 18 points.
10 in a quarter and 3 3-point field goals. He has not missed a field goal from deep.
I coached Gary Payton this summer, Tom, in the MTV Rock and Jock game.
Are you taking credit?
No. He had 197 points in the game, the MTV Rock and Jock game.
He should have 197 against those midgets.
Lee and Flea.
He may need to get 197 again today.
Shrimp finds Kersey open. Can't hit it. Tapped out of bounds by Blunt. It'll be Seattle ball. A minute left till halftime.
Everybody looking up at the clock, but they realize that this is a 2-point ball game and one that's had a lot of streaks in it. And Sonic trying to get a quick streak here. Kersey.
He's fouled. Horry and O'Neal both made a stab at him. Let's see who gets the personal.
That has to be Shaq. Shaq hit him so hard. I'm surprised Kersey even still walking.
Shaq's first foul.
Shaq has a tendency to stand flat-footed underneath the basket on the defensive end, just encouraging guys to drive in his face.
Kersey misses the free throw, and don't forget, coming up next, game 3 of our playoff triple header, Michael Jordan and the Bulls taking on Glenn Rice and the Hornets. That's the Bulls and the Hornets in the nightcap coming up after the Lakers and Sonics.
Kersey gets his first score, 1 of 2 from the line, 1-point ball game, Tom.
2 for 1 time for the Lakers if they shoot at 40.
Now, Van Exel has not been as good so far in this ball game as he was in games 2 and 3. A miss there.
Got right to the rim, couldn't finish it. Here's Payton. Gary Payton with a tough layup. And the Sonics are back up by 1. Payton with 20 points in the first half.
Well, without 20 in the second quarter, so he has really changed his attitude and trying to keep his team on top.
The Lakers had a chance to go 2 for 1, and now it's going to be the Sonics who get the final shot.
They got a 3-on-1. Kersey, Shrimp lays it in.
They got to take the break. They couldn't hold for that. That was too delicious to take. Jerome Kersey, nice effort.
A 3-on-1 break.
George Karl's calling for the foul to give. He said, give it at 5.
They have a foul to give, and it will be Shaquille O'Neal. No shot.
The Sonics really feeding off George Karl's brilliance today. George gets a lot of criticism. He's under incredible pressure up there in Seattle.
McIlvain returns to the game for the final 7 seconds of the half.
Protect Ben Baker. Baker got off to a terrific start. 10 in the first quarter. Didn't score, but they want to make sure they don't get a foul. 20-second timeout later.
Playing the running game, and Shaquille is not having an impact defensively like he had. The fast break points. Lakers out early with Eddie Jones and Shaquille leading the way, but the end of the first half here, it's been all Seattle in the up and down game.
Well, the Lakers got 30 points in that first quarter, and then they've been able to get them more Shaq-itis. Shaq has been dominating. He got 10. Foul. Kersey didn't move his feet.
Jerome Kersey committing his first foul.
Well, the dream for all these opponents against the Lakers is to get them to play that stand-around game where they just dump it into Shaq every time and play one Shaquille against the 5 defenders. And that has been working here at the latter moments of the first half. Utah is probably the best team at doing that against the Lakers.
One in the penalty for Eddie Jones, who hits the first. He has 17 points.
They're going to get McIlvain out there thinking about a quick score now. Perkins comes in, Anthony comes in, so they think if they can get it down quickly, they'll at least get a shot at it and maybe a 3 in the process.
Jones with that free throw, ending an 8-0 Seattle run.
What is the limit on the number of substitutions that you can have on a single dead ball? The rest of the Lakers have really come on strong in support of Shaquille O'Neal. Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Robert Horry in the second round have just been magnificent.
Jones hits 2. And then intercepts the Seattle pass. Van Exel got it away for 3 and hit it as the half ends.
Tom, Nick Van Exel hit that same type of shot at the end of Game 3 on Friday night. Gave the Lakers great momentum as they headed into the locker room.
This is the kind of play that Van Exel has specialized in his career. Not only beat the clock, but beat it from deep. He's thinking three-pointer all the way, and so they go from a 3-point deficit to a 2-point advantage.
Now stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report after these messages. It's the Sonics and the Lakers, with the Lakers leading 2-1 and holding a 2-point lead as we start the third.
Here comes the trap for Seattle. Problems for the Lakers in that first half, Tom. No balance, no Nick Van Exel, and no defense. That's a tough way to win against this outstanding Seattle team.
I think that the Sonics showed some terrific courage to get back in it, because this game has had the feel that the Sonics are being dominated. Robert Horry gets in it deep, and that's his first field goal of this ball game.
Fortunately, Gary Payton is playing the game of his life. Ben Baker was hot early, had 10 first quarter points, did not score in just a couple of minutes of action in the second quarter.
I think Hersey Hawkins has got to look for his shot. When they win against the Lakers, it's because Hersey Hawkins also gets into the dance. He's got to let it fly.
He lets it fly there, and it finds the bottom of the net. Hersey Hawkins with a 3.
It's a beautiful skip pass that time by Detlef Schrempf. Problem when you trap the Lakers that Horry handles the ball.
Shaq too hard off the glass.
Well, he hadn't got the bank shot down yet.
Yeah,
this will be something to work on.
Well, you need Tim Duncan to come over here and show him how to kiss it off that glass.
Schrempf posting Fox.
Schrempf had a terrific first half, only missed 3, trying to go deep, short with that one.
Fall away was short, but there's Hawkins for the offensive board.
2 possessions, 2 loose balls, both for Seattle.
Baker against Shaq. Didn't risk it. Perkins.
Now you know why they call him Big Smooth. Like no effort at all.
He just sort of glided in there, didn't he? Big Smooth with 3 points. Low box Shaq. Double team, kicks it right back out. Jones, double clutch and home. Eddie Jones has hit 8 of 11 in the game and has 20 points.
He was terrific in that first quarter, cooled off only because he wasn't in a lot of that second quarter, and the Sonics can't allow him to join Shaq in a big second half.
Baker's got it deep, but there's Shaq between he and the basket. Payton spotted for the 3. Fisher.
The Lakers aren't able to run against Seattle right now because Seattle's offense is too good, it's too patient, it's too intelligent.
Eddie Jones, a rare miss today. Payton in a hurry. Here's Hawkins. Bounced off his knee. Jones, as the Sonics get back on defense.
Nobody running with Eddie on the steal.
Fisher for 3. Fisher has 7 points, and the Lakers up 5.
We're looking at an incredibly high-scoring game today, Tom, and I think that favors the Lakers.
Good shooting on both ends of the court, extending to the three-point arc, as you saw.
Hersey Hawkins still a little tentative, not sure. It didn't look like he wanted that one. Eddie Jones, who plucked him just before the break comes up and gets Derek Fisher a wide-open 3. And those are the guys that the Sonics have got to keep out of the game.
Hawkins has found the range with back-to-back three-pointers on his last 2 shots. Makes it a 3-point game. Actually, that was only a 2, they say, with a foot on the line. As Shaquille O'Neal pounds it home on the other end.
George Karl telling us that he'll live with that play as long as they get the Lakers playing half-court basketball. Don't let Shaq pick you apart with his great passing.
Trying to post Hersey Hawkins, which is something they rarely do. They like to go with Payton. Hawkins trying to score on his own, gets a foul.
Fisher had flopped, and then while laying flat on his back, reaches up to knock the ball away. But the foul is on Derek Fisher.
Shaquille O'Neal in that low post just clears out Sam Perkins. Then the way he steps back, the little hitch to get into the rhythm of that jump hook. When he comes to a stop, it often draws that foul. There's a flop by Derek Fisher. Hersey Hawkins devastating in the post. Here's a guy growing up in Chicago, was a high school post player before he went on to college basketball at Bradley, and one of the greatest scorers in the history of the collegiate game.
The one thing you don't like about Hersey Hawkins is you got to drag him into the fight. I mean, as good an offensive player he is, there are just too many times when he's drifting and you don't know he's out there. A good start for him, 7 quick points here at the top of the third quarter.
Scored over 3,000 points at Bradley, their all-time leading scorer, and he left as the 4th highest scorer in NCAA history. Jones. Shrimp kept it alive, but Jones grabbed it. Missed again, but there's Horry to put it back. Robert Horry at his best as a relentless offensive rebounder, as you saw there.
Horry is not going to get huge numbers on this team, but he plays such a beautiful floor game in every area. Plus, with Shaq guarding Vin Baker, Horry gets to roam and play that wild defense.
Shaq sends Baker's shot back. Hawkins got the roll, so Hawkins now with 9 in the quarter and 12 for the game, keeping Seattle in it, down 3.
George Karl said that Hawkins and Perkins had to be huge.
Basket will not count.
Sam Perkins.
It's interesting. I was in the locker room with the Lakers today, and a bunch of the guys were pointing out when they were talking about the Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson fiasco from a week or 2 ago. They said as much punishment as Shaquille takes, this guy never responds in a negative manner out there, just takes that incredible pounding time and time again.
Vin Baker scored 10 in the first quarter, hasn't scored since. And Shaq, in addition to his 25 points, has 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocked shots.
But I don't think the defense for the Lakers has been near as sharp today as it was in games 2 and 3.
Game 2 was an excellent performance as they held the Sonics to only 68. Robert Horry jams it through, and he has 8 points.
But what has hurt the Sonics in their trapping is they've allowed Corey Blunt, now Robert Horry, to play close to the basket, play throwdown at 7 points in the quarter for Robert Horry.
Nice catch by Perkins, but it took him too far under the rim. Saves it to Shrimp. Hawkins for 3. Hawkins continues to hold the hot hand in the third. He has 15 total points, and 12 of those in this quarter. Jones fouled.
Now you know the Sonics have to wake everybody else up. They got Hawkins into the game. What happened to Peyton? What happened to Shrimp? What happened to Ben Baker? But you get a look at a broken play that turned into another 3-point field goal for Hersey Hawkins. He's the only guy right now that's carrying the torch for the Sonics.
Steve, the Laker guards, Laker perimeter guys are not cutting that foul line on those loose balls that are being kicked out on the Laker defensive end.
NBC Tonight begins with an all-new Dateline, then an NBC world premiere movie event, Witness to the Mob, based on the true story of the man who brought down the mob. It all begins immediately after our triple header, except on the West Coast. Baker with a screen for Peyton, bounces out, shoots no good. Horry all alone for the rebound. Robert has 5.
Last 5 games, Robert Horry, actually all 7 playoff games for the Lakers, Horry has just been magnificent.
Yeah, the glove was a little bit too much glove. He had part of the arm of Derek Fisher trying to rip up through the bottom of the ball. You'll see the arm come right here underneath, and when you're the glove, you get away with a lot.
But I like what Seattle's doing there at the half court. They're trapping with the big guys, and it's not been hurting them. The Lakers not exploiting Robert Horry up high in that press offense.
Well, again, what hurts them is when they have one of the big guys go to the basket against it, 6 on the shot clock.
Peyton with a flop, no call. Fox for 3. Rebounded by Jones, and he brings it back out.
I love it when teams do this. You get an offensive rebound, you don't have to clear stick back, bring it out, make him play a full 24 seconds of defense again.
Shaq, 3 around him, and 1.
Detlef Shrimp is hot because O'Neal just overpowered him. He thought he got a charge, but he was too deep to get this call.
The Sonics is saying in the locker room before the game how this guy is just too overpowering. Detlef just standing there, defending himself, putting his arms up in front of his face. George Karl, a technical foul.
George Karl getting all over Ed F. Rush, has been teed up.
In every one of these ball games, though, these are precious points. Karl can't afford to give away anything. This has been the kind of game where a technical could make the difference between winning and losing, unless you got Shaq shooting it.
Eddie Jones sinks the technical.
George Karl, he loves his team. He loves coaching this squad. He wants to be there forever. He knows how desperately they need to win this ball game today. He will be the first guy defending all of his players.
And you look at the numbers of O'Neal, he has been consistent in short range. He gets a 3-point play.
It's a 4-point play on that possession for the Lakers, thanks to the technical foul. I'm surprised Shaq didn't shoot the technical. He's 4 for 5 at the line.
Every time the Sonics have gotten close or gotten the lead, they've done something to take themselves out of it. Shrimp, angry, comes right back with 2 of his own.
Took it right to Shaq.
Well, in the matchup when Shaq has to guard Detlef Shrimp, there's no way Shaq can come close to guarding him. Terrible pass.
Horry fell down, but Fox is able to retrieve it in backcourt after it was touched by the Sonics. The
clock is under 10.
3 to shoot. Jones does. And rebounded by Hawkins.
Terrific box out by Sam Perkins that time.
Hawkins, he is looking for a shot now. He thought that one was good, but I mean, that's the attitude that he's got to have and the rest of the Sonics got to have, because they're going to have to win it with some big field goals this afternoon.
Nick Van Exel on the court for the Lakers.
Tom, the best regular season game I saw in the entire NBA this year was the night, on a Friday night this year, when Seattle came in and won in overtime in this building. Gary Payton was huge. They're going to have that kind of performance again.
Sonics beat the Lakers 3 times in the regular season. Jones, wide open 3. the Sonics will call a timeout. Things heating up at the Forum. And the Lakers 77-71, the NBA on NBC. Let's go to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Bill, just as you were mentioning, and Tom, about the last possession by Shaquille O'Neal, it's exactly what George Karl said. I can't repeat exactly what he said, but in effect he said they are not doing a great job of getting out of the double. George Karl wants the double team to come much quicker. At the other end, Del Harris just pointed up at the Forum scoreboard that showed that Seattle was winning this game on the boards. He said that's got to change. Back to you guys.
All right. They're only winning by 1. So, I mean, you know, and you got a 6-point lead, you can't be too unhappy. And I'm sure what he's trying to tell his team is stay aggressive.
But once again, they have no answer for Shaquille O'Neal, now with 30 points.
Tom, we often talk in the NBA about the teams that have the safety net. The big guy, Jordan, Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal. We saw David Robinson yesterday. When things aren't going well, just give it to him.
Clutch shot by Jerome Kersey from the baseline. 3 points for him, and it's a 6-point Laker lead after that 8-point margin represented the biggest of the game.
What would help the Sonics defense is to try to get to the point of attack. The guy that's got the ball earlier, they're working against the clock most of the time, but when the ball comes free, they're getting pretty good opportunities, and Kersey hustles his way back to that shot. Should have gotten that rebound.
Robert Horry, though, Steve, just everywhere. Van Exel will force up a tough shot clock against him, of course, and then Horry just right there in the right place at the right time.
Horry misses the first free throw, and don't forget our playoff tripleheader concludes with Michael Jordan and the Bulls against Glenn Rice and the Hornets, with the Bulls, after losing at home, coming back to take Game 3 and Game 4, coming up with the Bulls leading 2-1.
Now the Sonics don't get hurt by that one as Robert Horry misses both of the free throws, and they trap Gary Payton. He takes a look. Hawkins comes out of the ball game, and he was their big hitter in the quarter, so now they got to come back. They got to energize someone at the offensive end. Eddie Jones picked up a foul, but you got to look for Payton, who hasn't scored in the quarter, or Detlef Schrempf, who just has 2 points to get into this game in the final 3 of the quarter.
And Steve, Sam Perkins has really given him nothing today. A couple of plays, but not what the Sonics need from Big Sam.
They're looking for Vin Baker on this cross.
Well, they're using that cross screen to take Shaq off of Vin Baker.
And he's checked by Corey Blunt at the moment, and Baker scores over Blunt, his first basket since the first quarter.
Vin Baker was huge in Game 1. Game 2 and 3, a non-factor because the Lakers switched Shaq onto him. Now George Karl utilizing those cross screens to get Shaq off of Vin Baker.
Baker trying to defend Shaq, reached in to knock it away. Van Exel fakes, fires, good. Wow.
Nick Van Exel's got 2 buckets today. He had the one to end the half and now the one there. Nothing else has really gone right for Nick.
But those are Van Exel specials. The tougher the shot, against the clock, those are the ones he's going to make. They strip Baker the ball.
Eddie Jones did the honors and brings it into front court.
That's the kind of defense that will generate fast breaks.
Lob, Shaq from Van Exel. Second timeout, Seattle.
Tom, there is no way that the Sonics can live with this tough shot here. Tries to draw the foul. Sonic defender does a good job. But when you have Detlef Schrempf trying to guard Shaquille O'Neal in the low post, that is just never going to work for Seattle.
It's not going to work if you're not going to get all over Nick Van Exel. He has a chance to aim this right to the rim. I mean, Jerome Kersey is just standing there arms down. If you're going to be in a situation where you're rotating small on big like O'Neal, you got to be all over the point of attack.
You could tackle Nick Van Exel. Detlef Schrempf cannot guard Shaquille O'Neal. I promise you, Steve.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that.
In any situation. You describe.
But guess what? If they can't get him the ball, you don't get this great reaction from Shaquille O'Neal. Nice and relaxed and all day long.
I think he said, deadlift shrimp cannot guard me any place in any way.
8-point game. Every time the Sonics have made a little run, got it back down, the Lakers have had an answer. 8 on the shot clock. Kersey.
Take it out of here. Shaq's 5th block.
Shot clock.
Payton with a deep 3. Gary Payton, clutch. 3-point shot. His 15th point. Excuse me, 23rd point and his first basket in the second half.
That's why as a shot blocker, you just tap that ball. You tap it to one of your players instead of volleyball spike it out.
It looks spectacular when you knock it out with force, but it'd be better if you got possession for your team.
George Karl wanted a goaltend on this play.
Well, if you slap it far enough out, the guy shouldn't be stepping in and hoisting it in, but against the clock, and that's the second shot from deep that he's taken today, but he's only missed one of them, so he's had a great 3-point shooting afternoon.
Lakers have height advantage at every single position out here.
Shaq forced out of the floor that time by Baker, but then he fouls him trying to get the ball away. Looked like he had the steal for a moment.
This is a sneak pass. Robert Horry was trying to fool the defense, and he caught Ben Baker by surprise, also surprised O'Neal, but O'Neal goes to the line.
And they say now the foul's on Kersey.
Steve, this is the same problem we've seen with so many guys trying to guard Shaq. Vin Baker as the Utah Jazz, when we had him at the end of the regular season, just not using his hips, not using his shoulders and his elbows enough. He's trying to push upstairs with Shaq, and that'll never get it done.
You can use your hips, Tom, and mine, and they still won't be enough against Shaquille O'Neal.
Wait a minute, your hips are pretty darn big, Steve.
Shaq has hit 5 of 7 free throws today, and are the rest of the Lakers paying attention? They've only hit 6 of 12.
10 and a quarter for O'Neal, 33 in the game, so his numbers are staying just about the same against him.
Shaq had 44 against the Sonics in the regular season. Look at that runner. Another impossible shot by Gary Payton. Van Exel trying to get away from Anthony. Here's the entry pass to Shaq, the quick double team.
Greg Anthony just playing a marvelous floor game like Robert Horry is.
Horry for 3. Robert Horry. 3-point shot, his 11th point of the game, and Kersey was right in his face.
George Karl's calling for a quick 3 here to take advantage of the shot clock.
Yeah, the Lakers had a foul to give, and they give one here. So the clock will stop and they'll get it back on the other way. But Gary Payton suddenly steps up, and in the last 2 plays, it's made a big difference in keeping his team close. That one, top of the form.
That's that defense we're talking about for Shaq, though, as Payton pulls the trigger again.
Missed that one. O'Neal rebounds.
Too easy.
Shaq cannot let Gary Payton turn that corner and just come to the hoop. Gary Payton, he can throw that ball as high as he wants.
It is a 5-second differential between game and shot. Van Exel working for the final shot for the Lakers.
Jones for 3.
Gary Payton played it perfect. Eddie Jones just too hot today, and another turnover.
Van Exel lets it fly as the quarter comes to a close. I'm surprised that didn't go in the way they've been shooting. Shaq has been unstoppable. The supporting cast has been great, and they have their bigger sleeve. The Lakers up 10 on the Seattle Sonics. Shaquille with 33. Magic enjoying this one as the Lakers, who scored 119 points in Game 3, have 90 through 3 periods in Game 4. Tom Hammond, Steve Jones, Bill Walton, Paul Sunderland ready for the 4th quarter. The Lakers and the Sonics.
Magic was just beaming before the game about the way this Laker team is playing. Oh, Dale Ellis.
That's his specialty, the all-time 3-point leader. brings the Sonics within 7.
Well, they just flat out shot the ball. Both teams have shot it well, and if they're going to have a chance, right now is a chance for the Sonics. With Shaq out of the ball game, Eldon Campbell has not been a factor, and they can really get up and tiger these people out on the perimeter.
Unless Eldon Campbell gets something going right away.
He missed it, but there was Eddie Jones to knock it home.
Shaquille O'Neal is not going to be out of this ball game long.
Eddie Jones ate the same meal that he ate on Friday night. He got 29. He had 29 points then. He's got 28 now, and a big offensive tap in that time.
Kobe Bryant, unfortunate for him, not a sniff of time here in the second half.
Baker got in there in trouble and ended up turning it over.
Eddie Jones, the Lakers working with all the little things. Corey Blunt keeping it alive, the missed layup, and then Eddie Jones quickly over the top of everybody.
It's supposed to be an offensive foul when you came over somebody's back.
The guy was still on the ground, Steve. He wasn't even going for the rebound. He was waiting to take it out of the net.
Jones to Van Exel. I don't think he even looked at the basket that time as he let the shot go, and somehow Campbell wades in to get it back.
All the Sonics stood around and watched. That ball hit the floor. Someone should have picked it up. They can't afford to let any of those missed opportunities get away. They're down on the scoreboard.
Horry. And a 10-point third quarter. Missed that one, but there's Van Exel for the offensive board, and once again, the Lakers out hustling the Sonics.
There's a piece of ice on the court there. Someone's going to slip and fall.
Well, he didn't slip on the ice, but Van Exel did fall. But he was pushed by Kersey, so Jerome Kersey whistled for his 4th foul.
This is the type of possession for the Sonics that's just devastating. They've been on defense now for so long. George Karl looking for somebody who will dig out that ball on the defensive end. You see the rebounds just barely in favor of Los Angeles.
Well, they're very small, and you got to look at the other end and say, one, are you not getting stopped? But you got to get some makes. Eddie Jones misses that one.
Finally, the Sonics get a rebound.
Eldon Campbell signaling the 3. How about getting an offensive rebound, Eldon?
They've had 3 offensive rebounds already this period. The celebs are here. Denzel's got some game. Tom and Nicole. Magic, of course, in his courtside seat with Diane Cannon. And Jack says this is as good as it gets as his team is close to taking a 3-1 lead in the series. Let's go to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Tom, during the last timeout, George Karl, in spite of putting a very small lineup on the floor, was really on his Sonics about those 4 offensive rebounds at their defensive end. So we got to cut that out. And while Gary Payton is on the sidelines, he really wants his small lineup to play up-tempo. Get it close, get in a position to let Gary take over when he does return. Back to you guys.
But a lineup, Tom, that features no Gary Payton and no Vin Baker at a critical junction of the season, of your career, that's a big gamble.
What they've got to do is be able to match the firepower right now with the Los Angeles Lakers, who have a 9-point advantage. You've got to be able to score the ball. Forget about the stops, because if you can't score and the other team is scoring on you, you're not going to catch up. 3.
Van Exel. As the shot clock expired, Van Exel inserted the dagger.
The Laker offense just rolling right now. You see the confidence, the way they believe, hey, we're going to score 120, 125 points every game.
Well, they've got a 12-point lead. I don't think George Karl can wait too much longer. He's got the wrong people right now trying to score the ball. Detlef Schrempf has got to take over along with Hersey Hawkins, and they're not the guys that are shooting.
They're the ones back on defense.
Eldon Campbell's done a fine job in relief of Shaq here.
See, it doesn't do any good to have the shot clock working for you, and the other team makes a shot. Van Exel again.
As quickly as you can say Nick Van Exel, the Lakers have opened up 15.
Eddie Jones on the defensive end on that last attempted stop here. Watch his feet on the right side of the screen. He just steps right on Eldon Campbell's foot. A second look. The right foot of Eddie Jones. He rolls that ankle, and he limped off to the bench. Paul Sunderland has a report.
Laker trainer checked in with Eddie Jones during the timeout. A very cursory look. It was minor. Eddie Jones not in any sort of problem. Back out on the court. No attention, no ice, no retape, no nothing. Back to you guys. He's fine.
All right, Paul. So's Nick Van Exel after hitting those 2 tough threes. And the Lakers have scored 8 in a row over the last minute 40 and they have their biggest lead. And the Sonics turn it over. Things unraveling for the Pacific Division champion.
Well, a huge gamble by George Karl. He wanted to go a couple more possessions. Saw that one spin out of bounds and Payton gets up. But, you know, you're down 15 and you've got to cut this lead very quickly in the next couple of minutes of play before O'Neal comes back out on the floor for the Lakers.
Does Van Exel have anything but threes today, Tom?
Well, we'll ask Paul Evans.
No, steals, Sonics.
And Payton and Baker return.
Finally. When you talk
Jones, 28 points.
When you talk to George Karl about defending the Lakers, he always mentions Nick Van Exel right up there with Shaq. The other guys are important, but if you can stop Van Exel, if you can slow down Shaq, you got a great chance to win.
Deadlift shrimp, they needed that. Van Exel, to answer your question, has 3 threes and 1 2-point field goal.
Remember, whenever the Sonics have success, they usually get 4 of their starters in double figures and 1 guy coming off the bench. They have not been able to get anybody off the bench to really stay hot for them, so the starters are going to have to really pick it up.
Good physical defensive stop that time for Seattle.
Van Exel over-penetrating, and Seattle took it away. Their Lakers' first turnover of the second half.
Mismatch here, Shrimp against Van Exel.
Of the half?
Of the half. With 6:49 left in the fourth, excuse me. There is a foul on the Lakers as Shaq returns.
Shaquille O'Neal, team leader in just about everything today.
What else is there? Points, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, rebounds, assists, dunks, blocks, and intimidations.
Now, where is he in fouls?
He is not the leader in fouls. He has only 1.
It's your birthday and you're doing all the work here. Happy birthday, Tom.
Thank you, Bill, as Detlef Shrimp hits the free throw. And to celebrate that birthday, we'll be watching TNT tonight as Utah and San Antonio square off in San Antonio. The Spurs with a decisive victory yesterday, their first win of the series. Jazz still leading 2-1. It's 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight.
Tom, that series, Utah-San Antonio, that's been some of the best basketball played in a long time. Just great back and forth, each team playing really good basketball.
I think it's because they got all the 7-footers in there.
Wait. Are you saying the Jazz played well yesterday?
The Jazz will be back.
Well, I didn't say they wouldn't be back, but yesterday, only 64 points. I don't think we'd say that was too great. Robert Horry powers it through. $13 points for Horry, 12 of them in this half.
But it's like today's game, Tom. It's not like Seattle's playing bad basketball. The Lakers are just playing great.
Anthony missed a wide open 3. Corey Blunt, the defensive rebound. He has a half dozen.
Well, all of the Lakers' talent, and they're too deep at every position, is showing up this afternoon. And the Sonics, they've got to have a maximum effort at both ends of the floor. Any kind of breakdown, scoreboard reflects it. O'Neal and a foul against Baker.
Shaq returns to the line after this baseline spin.
I think Shaquille O'Neal has the best spin moves, either to go for the lob or to go on this drop step in the history of the NBA. Maybe Moses Malone would be right up there on that drop step for the big guys, Steve.
The history?
For the big guys.
You know, you think he dances better than Olajuwon was dancing before his knees went out?
Talking about that one spin move right there. That's what I'm talking about. And go for the lob. You see Shaq in this series just been devastating. But even though the offense has been so consistent, his defense has just taken it to the next level. And there you see the ice on the ankle of Eddie Jones.
Well, they got ice in. They're putting some more tape on it. But the good thing is he's out of the ball game. But the Sonics got to make baskets. You know, right now, 8 on the shot clock. They got to get some hoops.
Tough shot by Baker as Shaq forced him way into the fall away. And then Fox swipes it from Hawkins.
Corey Blunt, Rick Fox, Robert Horry, the quick hands of those forwards. And the quick jumping ability of those forwards, too.
And now the Lakers are content now to play Shaq ball. They're going to grind it out, drop it into the big fella, make the defense react, 5 on the shot clock.
Fox with 1 to shoot. Got it up there but couldn't hit it. Hawkins, quick pass into front court. Just under the 5-minute mark in this game 4. Payton posting Van Exel. Help from Fox, but they forgot about Payton, left him open.
Oh, the Lakers would rather have Derek Fisher guarding Gary Payton than Nick Van Exel. They got caught, the Lakers did, in defensive transition.
Well, 12-point contest, and you got to really be able to pick the Lakers up now and make them play further out on the floor, and knowing that they're going to drop the ball into O'Neal. This is the side he least favors, and leaves Blunt wide open.
Great ball movement, but Blunt misses the hook. There will be a loose ball foul as O'Neal. That was sort of a Mutt and Jeff picture as O'Neal and Anthony were squared off, and Greg was looking at about mid-chest.
You get a chance to see how the Lakers go inside out and really make the defense react, and even though they don't get the shot from Blunt, they get the defense spread out so O'Neal can get the rebound.
A roar of applause for Nick Van Exel as he goes to the bench. That play all set up, though, because Vin Baker jumped unnecessarily. Offensive foul here on Derek Fisher.
Eddie Jones, after having his ankle retaped, is back into the game.
Well, Fisher's got to be hot because he tried that same block and he didn't get it.
Gary Payton's done his job today as he kicks it out to Schrempf.
But how about Shaq's intimidating defense, just shutting down that play?
Schrempf can't hit, but will shoot 2 after being fouled by Eddie Jones. Gary Payton has 27 points and 12 assists, so he's done his job. He just hadn't had enough help.
21 for Detlef Schrempf with a chance to get a couple of more. The guy that's been missing in this, and I guess we can call it 2 because Percy Hawkins woke up in the 3rd. Ben Baker, since that 10-point outburst, has gotten 2 points since that time. They need Ben Baker, and they need Baker in a big way, and he has struggled with the exception of a couple of ball games in his first playoff appearances total.
Joe Crawford, realizing that the Chicago Bulls are playing next, knows that he has to get these substitutes into the game and not going to let that scorekeeper dilly-dally around over there.
That was Bill Walton, ladies and gentlemen. Just under 4 minutes left in the game, and the Lakers lead by 10.
Van Exel is back in, and Anthony is all over him. And this is the kind of defense they needed earlier before the Lakers got this 10-point advantage.
Horry's attempted entry pass deflected out of bounds. Lakers have it with 7 to shoot.
The scrambling defense for the Sonics, forcing this shot clock hurry-up situation for the Lakers.
Everything going right for Eddie Jones today. 30 for Eddie, a career playoff high.
Back-to-back career playoff highs.
You know, that's the unfortunate thing about being down on the scoreboard. When you keep talking about stops, and the other team has got the torch going, and the Lakers have been shooting over 55%. It's tough to stop a team. Payton with the score.
29 for Gary.
One of the real problems for Seattle is that they haven't had more than one player playing well at the same time. Lakers have had Shaq throughout, Eddie Jones throughout, Van Exel's had his moments.
Horry's had his moments.
But for Seattle, it's always been just one guy at a time. Tough to win that way against this great Laker team.
Baker with a foul. That's 5 on Vin. You know, Vin Baker spent the first 4 years of his career in Milwaukee, never made the playoffs. Here he is in his second playoff series, first year in the playoffs, And is all of that just too much for him to handle, the intensity and all that being new? Has that affected his play?
Well, certainly it has affected his play, and the fact that he's been building for this moment, he may have put too much pressure on himself. He's had a real tough time, and then the fact that he's got to deal with O'Neal on a consistent basis does not help.
Steve, the thing that playoff experience shows you is how hard it is to win and how good the players are at this level. I think for Vin Baker, we're talking about a summertime of more skill development. He wanted to pass that ball in the worst way, but everybody just backed off.
I think he's been spending time with Kobe.
A 10-point ball game, and the Sonics, they need to score every trip down, trying to post Payton to make it happen.
Payton got the roll.
I think it's at the point of the game now where Seattle starts fouling Shaq every time and see if he's going to stroke it. He's been beautiful today from the line.
Well, you better start because you can't let him do that.
Yeah, that's what you don't want. If you're going to foul him before he gets a chance to shoot. Now, a potential three-point play. And for Vin Baker, trying to defend Shaq, it has been a nightmare game.
Just giving up too much deep position there. Shaq using that left hand beautifully.
And Baker is fouled out of the game. He began with 10 points in the first quarter, has only 2 since then, and trying to defend Shaquille, fouls out with 2:14 left in the game.
And the trade that worked so well for George Karl all during the regular season has not produced here just into the second round of the playoffs.
Shaq with 37 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 blocked shots. He's hit 7 of his 10 free throws.
You know, Eddie Jones and Shaq combined for 67 points, and now you're looking for quick bombs. Sam Perkins delivered 1.
2 minutes left in the game. 106-98 Los Angeles.
If you're the Lakers, you're playing possession basketball from this point on. Use as much time, then you're going to drop it inside to Shaq, have somebody cut to the basket, get to the free throw line, tunnel the situation up.
Perkins defending Shaq, double team from Payton. Eddie Jones.
He used the entire shot clock that time, and Corey Blunt gets it back. The Lakers doing a fine job of not giving the ball to Shaq until it was near the end of the shot clock, so a fouling situation really wouldn't hurt Los Angeles.
George Karl doing his imitation of Jerry Sloan in a title contest, yelling at Ed F. Rush, you know, you want to go now?
Corey Blunt missing the first free throw. Payton committed a foul. Blunt has 6 points and 5 boards.
It really looks like what the Sonics need, though, is much more of a physical presence inside. Someone who's willing to get nasty, to get dirty.
Come on, get real. I mean, you are talking about a team that has been small. They have no answer for O'Neal. So who's going to do it?
Somebody better. It's running out of time.
No one has yet. 13 of 24. Shaquille has hit 7 of 10.
And he's had a big afternoon, but part of the problem is they've let him get too deep, and when they fouled him, he's been able to complete the play. A turnover against the Sonics.
No, they're going to call the ball off the bottom of the board, Steve. When the pass was tipped defensively and hit the bottom of the board, now they're going to give it, and the Sonics were up against the shot clock again.
Well, you know, they can't take a lot of time to score. They're behind. Payton.
He collides with Van Exel, no whistle, Laker ball.
Corey Blunt has been magnificent today. He's just been on every single loose ball. He's played the great defense. He's ran the floor.
Perkins with the hack of Shaq. 58.7 seconds left. And the Lakers on the verge of taking a 3-1 series lead. Two teams finished the regular season with identical 61 and 21 records, though Seattle won the tiebreaker, as you see the foul, by result of winning 3 of 4 from the Lakers in the regular season. Coming up next, Game 3 of our playoff tripleheader. Michael Jordan and the Bulls against Glenn Rice and the Hornets. Bulls leading the series 2-1. Bulls and the Hornets in the nightcap. Coming up next. And Shaquille continues to pound in the free throws.
Shaquille so well aware that the only way he's ever going to not get fouled is if he continually knocks down those free throws.
It's 108-98 with 58.7 seconds remaining, and coming up next, the Chicago Bulls take on the Charlotte Hornets at the Hive in Charlotte. Glenn Rice, Vlade Divac and company need a win to even up their Eastern Conference semifinal, but Chicago will have something to say about that. Michael and the Bulls look to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. That's the Bulls and the Hornets in the nightcap, next here on NBC. And we'll move back to Seattle in this series on Tuesday night on TNT, with the Lakers leading 3-1, if barring a drastic change in the final 58 seconds. And then if a Thursday game is needed, it would be back here at the Forum on TNT. Should it go 7, we'll be back to Seattle for the clincher.
You saw Shaq doing that little loose dance that he did a year ago. That same dance cost him a little bit of an injury, so he must really be feeling frisky this afternoon. You know, he had that abdominal problem. Well, they got it all fixed today.
Shaq will go to the bench for the final 58 seconds, and the Lakers have had an almost error-free second half. Incredibly, only 2 turnovers in this second half. Payton can't hit the reverse. Hawkins pitches it out, and Perkins will try to get a 3, couldn't get it up.
Now, they just need score. They get a foul, so that's going to get Detlef Schrempf to the free throw line as the penalty situation goes up. But when you're under the gun, 46 seconds to go, down 10, the other team has to go to sleep. Del Harris is not going to let that happen. He's had so much heat on him this year. No way anybody's taking a sleeping pill now.
But Steve, don't you think that with 10-point lead and a minute to go, you have to leave your main guys in there? You take Shaq out. 10 points in 1 minute is not unheard of. And this is a game that basically both teams have to win.
Well, I think Del Harris feels he's won it. That's why those guys are out there.
I don't think this game is over, but they can't make free throws.
The other team can't score.
Perkins after the Schrempf missed tap. And Schrempf with a baseline jam. Gary Payton not out there. It's Greg Anthony who fouls Eddie Jones.
You got to have the clock stop. The other team's got to miss their free throws. You got to have the clock stop. The other team's got to miss their free throws. You got to come back and you got to score. There aren't enough mistakes. Didn't you hear Tom say a mistake-free second half?
So you take your best player out and risk everything with just a 10-point lead and only a minute to go?
Why is Gary Payton out?
Maybe he couldn't take it anymore.
Why is Gary Payton out?
I'm not sure of that either. I think this game is far from being over.
This game is over.
32 for Eddie Jones. He and Shaq have had tremendous games. 32 Jones, 39 Shaq.
Horry with the great defense once again. The presence of mind to just throw it off the leg of Jerome Kersey.
I think that this is the most frustrating position to be in if you're the Sonics. You know, you played a heck of a ball game. It hasn't been enough. You're trying to do something to make it happen at the end of the ball game, come up with some sort of heroic effort. 15 on the shot clock, 19 in the game.
And the cheers begin at the Forum as Campbell puts an exclamation point onto a Lakers win. That'll put them up 3-1 in the series with Seattle.
A lot of soul searching on that plane going home to Seattle tonight for the Sonics.
That's it. The Lakers win it by 12, 112-100 behind Shaquille O'Neal's 39 points. Eddie Jones had 32 points, Horry 13, Van Exel 13. While Gary Payton led the Sonics with 31 plus 12 assists, Dentless Shrimp had 25. Impressive win for the Lakers. Let's go to Paul Sunderland.
Tom, thank you very much. Unstoppable Shaquille O'Neal today with 39. How is this Laker team in the playoffs against Seattle taking it to an entirely different level, apparently?
Well, you know, we always play, Seattle, pretty close, unless we didn't play smart. I've been saying all year, all playoffs, if we play smart, we can play with anybody. My guys have been coming out, they've been playing great. Eddie's been playing great. Corey Blunt has been playing fabulous. I think they, finally realized that it's going to take a team effort, for us to reach our goal.
This is a team that changes defenses an awful lot and has thrown several adjustments at you, and you have always had another adjustment in return. You think you've seen the best from Seattle, and what do you anticipate when you go back up there Tuesday?
Well, we just did what we were supposed to do and just, win some home games. Now we want to try to go up there and just end it. And I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers watching.
Well, one of the big answers that they do not have, or questions I should say they cannot answer, is your offense, but also you seem to have an answer for Vin Baker. You fouled him out today, and you had a huge game.
Well, he's a great player, so I'm just trying to push him out, just trying to stay in front of him. When he shoots, I just want to contest his shot.
All right, Shaq, congratulations. Best of luck next week up in Seattle. Let's go back to the table.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day indeed, as the Lakers are now one win away from advancing to the Western Conference Finals, leading Seattle 3-1. For Bill Walton, Steve Jones, and Paul Sunderland, Tom Hammond saying so long from Los Angeles. Now to our NBA Showtime studio. Let's rejoin Hannah Storr.
Hannah back at the Great Western Forum with Eddie Jones. Not once, not twice, 3 times you set a new playoff career high and silenced an awful lot of critics out there that have been talking about Eddie Jones in the playoffs. What's been the key for you in this series?
Just being aggressive. The guys are getting me the ball, wide open. They're just looking for me, and I'm just being aggressive, attacking the basket.
In the playoffs, everything changes every game. You're up 3-1, but this series isn't over yet, is it?
Definitely not, man. That's a great basketball team in Seattle. They're a veteran ball club. They're going to fight back, and we're going to have to go out and give that aggression that they're going to come out with, and we have to come out with intensify.
Gary Payton had 20 points in the first half, but a quiet third quarter when you built a 10-point lead. Was that a crucial juncture of the game?
Well, Gary's Mr. Everything, and you got to try to keep the ball out of his hands. We tried to trap him, try to get the ball out of his hands so he couldn't create so much.
You tweaked your ankle. That seemed fine, but got word that your Achilles was really bothering you. What do you think its condition will be by Tuesday?
I'll be ready to go. No doubt, I'll be ready to go. I'm gonna go back home, just relax, not do anything, and just let it heal on its own.
I know what you're talking about. Eddie Jones, another big game along with Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers take a 3-1 lead.